Hi everyone, my name's Renee and welcome to my April Plan With Me. This is the first Plan With Me video that I'm doing in my almost 3 full years of bullet journaling. In the past on my channel, you've probably seen some time lapses of them, and I didn't really like filming them just because my head always got in the way of the camera. I decided for this month, what if I do a collage? You know, it's something different and it's something that I can just kind of come up with as I go along. That's part of the reason why I did a collage, is because I didn't have to spend so long strictly planning out what theme I was gonna do, where doodles were gonna go, and all this stuff. I could just kind of print out a bunch of pictures, decide which one I wanted to use or not, and just put it together. So for this month, I decided to go with a red theme, mostly because I typed in Google colors of April, and red was one of them. Like I said, I like doing collages just because there is no strict planning. You can place things and move things as you go. Nothing has to be set in stone from the beginning. So like this, I'm using those craft scissors that we all used as a kid. These are actually from when I was a kid. I found them in my house the other day, and I realized they would make a really good texture. That's another thing I like about collaging, is that there's physical textures and layers, and it can look really three-dimensional, even though it's just pieces of paper lying on top of each other. To me, it's more appealing than a drawing that's flat or doodling that's flat. That could also just be me because I'm not the greatest artist in the world, but I really like collaging. It's more fun than drawing for me, and it is easier for me to film because my head doesn't have to be 3 inches from the notebook at all times. Now I'm just going in and kind of somewhat planning where I want things to go, switching things around, you know. It's just, the planning doesn't have to be strict, and it's very easy to change something in your planning process when you're doing a collage, and that's what I really like about it. I just wrote April in pencil where I want to eventually write it, and now I'm just gluing everything in slowly. You know, still in the planning process, nothing is set in stone. I will be linking all of my supplies in the description, and if I don't link it or say what it is, it's probably just a really generic pen or pencil that most people have. When I was printing out all of my pictures for this, I was trying to think what size would be good, how will I get all of this to fit on one page, and that's something I like about collaging, is you can just kind of cut away things if they don't fit. So like this, I'm taking a red galaxy that I looked up and I printed out, and I'm just cutting it to fit into that spot. And I decided I didn't want it to just be one big block, so I decided to cut it into strips and kind of expand it across the page. It gave it a really cool effect that I'm really happy with how it came out. Now I'm just gluing the outfit with the roses as the head. And now I'm starting to glue in the galaxy. Just kind of placing it back and forth, you know, not necessarily all on top of each other. and I'm really happy with how this came out. I think it looks really cool, and I like it a lot more than just a big block of red. And like I said about there being physical textures, because of the way I glued the galaxy strips on, I can actually slide some of the red pieces under it and like weave them through. And I really like how these textures worked out and how it looks. Now I'm just going in with one of my Tombow brush pens and writing April in the middle of my page. And that is my cover page. My next page, I call it my month at a glance. It's my monthly calendar, and I spread it over 1.5 pages. The first page has the first 5 days of the week, and the second page has the last 2 days of the week. And my calendar always starts on Sunday, so I don't really think about putting the days of the week on the calendar itself. This is a format for a calendar that I've been using for quite a few months now, and I really like it. It's very simple, but it lets me see a lot at once. And even though I know we're kind of in a time right now where not a lot is happening, it's still nice for me to keep consistent with my setups and layouts. Now I'm just taking a red Crayola Supertip and writing April in a hand lettering, attempting calligraphy-ish style. And then another red brush pen to write in the numbers. One thing I did learn from filming this is that I should have my camera on my left side because I am right-handed, and it is hard to see what I'm writing with my right hand because all you see is the back of my hand. Taking that same red brush pen, and I'm writing my goals column, followed by my to-do column, and then my next month column. And this allows me to have a big picture on what needs to be done or what will need to be done in the upcoming month. And to keep with the red theme, I have a bunch of different fine liners and markers and stuff that are red, so I'm just going in and dotting around the page, giving it a very simple effect, but it kind of ties it into the rest of the month's theme. Up next is my habit tracker. This month I decided to cut down. In past Plan With Me's and past Instagram posts you might have seen that I go a little nuts with a habit tracker. I put like anywhere from like 8 to 12 different habits that I want to track, and I decided I'm not going to do that this time. This month I'm just going to focus on 6 habits and make sure that those are the ones that I'm really doing, because stuff like making my bed and brushing my teeth, I do it every day. I don't need to track it. It's just part of my routine. That's not something that I need to tell myself to do or to track. So I do draw in the mini calendar, but I leave it blank for the most part just because I have the dot grid to help me, so I don't bother writing in all the numbers or making the boxes. I just kind of follow the dot grid itself. And the 6 habits that I'm focusing on this month are meditating, working out, skincare, wearing my retainer, putting out job applications, and reading. This page, I call it my progress tracker, or like my progress page, and it's just kind of a place for me to put different things that I'm working on, like books and classes. I could just kind of keep track of how far I'm going. I don't fill it out right now, but you do see that list, and you will see some stuff in the flip through at the end. This next page is my YouTube and Instagram tracker. I'm using it just to see how consistent or inconsistently I'm posting. And it's a very simple page, just the title, and then down the left-hand side of the page is just the dates of the month. And every day that I post something, I'll just write it on that day that I do, just so that I can see at the end of the month how successful I was at keeping up with it. This next page that you see me working on is my last spread for April, and that is my weekly spread. I'm using a layout that I came up with in March, and I really liked how it worked. So at the top here, I'm just writing April 1 through 7. That's just so that I know what days I'm going to be seeing on this weekly spread. I decided to go with a different font just to break it up from all the hand lettering and the calligraphy type font. On the left-hand side, I'm just writing the days of the week, starting with April 1st, which happened to be on a Wednesday, going all the way down, giving each day up to 4 boxes so that I can write the 4 most important things that I need to focus on that day, if there is that many. And then on the other half of the page, it's just where I'm going to be putting my running task list so that throughout the entire week I can focus on what needs to be done. And here's the flip through. I was really happy with how my cover page came out and just my April setup in general. As you can see, I did fill out my progress tracker off camera a little bit. There are more things that you will see when I post to my Instagram later on in the month. Anyway, I hoped you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.